Bed by Serta Basics Foam Firm Mattress for just $199. Now through January 1st at Macy's. Savings off sale prices, exclusions apply.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Anthony Sinanders.
Yes, and today we're talking about Man of Steel, a movie that I don't like. I think we should put that out there relatively quickly.
Great way to set the tone.
Yeah, no, it's just like, usually very high energy. Matt does not like this. Oh, darn. Well, damn. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
Anthony, when you feel as if things have changed, in your opinion, from seeing Dawn of Justice. Now, we're not going to talk about Dawn of Justice here. We're not going to spoil anything. But Dawn of Justice set certain things up. Like, it helped continue them, and it helped put some context into what some of Man of Steel had done.
Kind of, but it's also more like the things that happen in Man of Steel needed to happen in order for the events of Dawn of Justice to go down the way they go down.
But the question is this, though. At the same time, though, I would argue that, but if you don't like the original events, then you're just getting that amplified. Could we have just not had some of those events and still had a movie? I'm not talking about the same movie. Remember, I'm not, let's clarify. I understand, like, look, I'll sit there and tell you, Zod's neck needed to be snapped, Paquette needed to die, with the scenario they set up. That doesn't mean I like the scenario or that we couldn't have thought of something different in terms of how we set it up in general. So even though they continued certain things, would you say that, like, in a way, they could have potentially removed them and still kept people going home happy? Because I feel like I haven't seen Batman v Superman yet, but Man of Steel, it felt like they didn't want people to go home happy until the last maybe 5 minutes, which was a little frustrating because it was right after a guy's neck got snapped. So
yeah, I mean, I think, like, here's the thing. It's hard to talk about without going into spoilers, but one thing in particular, there is no way a crucial moment in Batman v Superman could have happened without this having happened in some form or another in Man of Steel, or if it was just a different movie. It had to happen at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll leave it at that for right now. What I do want to say, though, is if it was in the 20-minute Krypton flashback, I think that we should have cut that out. Not the whole thing.
No, that could have easily been cut out. A good chunk of it.
Yeah.
Again,
not the
we could have
whole
done
thing.
without Jor-El's little parkour run across Krypton.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on that, and I'm sure that they did. The problem is that the movie only came out 3 years ago, yet somehow it's already dated, the CGI.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention, we essentially see it again about an hour into the movie told through liquid metal.
Yes, which, by the way, done very well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Snyder is a very visual guy, and I like his visuals. I just think that sometimes he might rely on them a bit too much, like thinking, oh, we can do this really cool thing here, and, like, Snyder needs people to go, but that should be cut. I mean, this was a 2.5-hour movie. Now, in no way am I saying superhero movies shouldn't be 2.5 hours, but this could have easily been an hour 59.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And I don't think a lot would have been lost. But yeah, I mean, you have a situation, where you have that 20-minute opening that really, in my opinion, did not need to be there, right? 5 minutes of it, maybe, at most. But 20 minutes of that whole thing, and then, maybe someone coming into it going, oh, is the planet going to be destroyed? Because it could happen, right? But I think a lot of us in the theater just sat there going, we know it's going to happen. Just stop.
Exactly.
Like, we know this is coming.
Yeah, and they tried to dramatize the whole death of Jor-El, and then they completely negate it by bringing him in for another at least 30, 35 minutes of the film.
Yeah, on and off. So I personally feel as if, the opening, again, really could have used some trimming, really could have slimmed this thing down, and also save some money for later on when you need it, because while the fight scenes were great, you can tell that they were trying to skimp here and there by making things a little bit, in my opinion anyway, but making things a little bit quicker, maybe because of the limitations at the time, maybe, right, that's why. But I do feel like it was also because of the fact that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, they had no more money left, but a decent, like a lot of money, in my opinion anyway, at least a lot for you and I, went into making Krypton. Something that I think if there was a show about Krypton, I know maybe some people were against it, but that rumored Krypton show on Sci-Fi, I would have loved it.
Of course.
The same way that, while I haven't kept up with it in a while, I did enjoy Gotham because they painted it. Now, I will admit, if fucking Krypton had Superman in it all the fucking time, I'd be a little pissed. But, because I was hoping, let's be honest, when we heard about Gotham, we thought it was going to mostly just be Jim Gordon and his cop adventures. Didn't realize it would turn into this. But, still, the point is that, I'm okay with prequel shows, right? I'm not okay with, and I don't know how Batman v Superman started, if the first 20 minutes is just Jim Gordon. I'm hoping it's not. But if the first 20 minutes is just Jim Gordon, because you would pause there, and I was like, oh, God, it's true.
No, because I didn't want to say anything. I was like, wait, let's see where he goes.
Yeah. No, because, I will admit, if the first 20 minutes is like Jim Gordon or the first 20 minutes straight, because I have to say this, the one good thing the movie did right, not the only, but one of the good things, they jumped between flashback to real life.
Yeah, that was really great.
Very well. My problem, though, and this is a huge problem with Nolan and Snyder, I don't know if you can tell me if Batman v Superman dropped it, the overuse of the filters.
They dropped it a bit.
Yeah, because here's my problem with the filters, right? My problem with that is you're going to do something at night, okay, cool, right? Oh, by the way, let's be clear. Batman can have those filters, right? There are certain characters that I think with those filters, it brings a bit of drama, suspense, a little bit of this ominous kind of feeling. But this is fucking Superman. The entire movie has this dark, ominous sense of dread filter. Yeah. And someone might go, but they're in Kansas, you know what I mean? It's not like Metropolis, but then you get to Metropolis, and it's the fucking same, it's like it's about to rain everywhere.
Yep.
And it is so bad because the only times that they don't use the filter is once in a fucking dream sequence. with Superman and Zod. And then later on in the flashback with Superman being the hero, and in a way I'm wondering if they just fucking forgot the filter. Because the scene worked so well that visually, mind you, Snyder, very good big visual guy, so I'm not trying to knock his visuals. But still, in this case, I felt like they forgot it because it worked out too well. Wait, Superman standing with a cape in the sun there? This must be a scene they meant to cut out. I think they were trying to actually put in a scene where, Superman just started snapping more people's necks. I think they might have put in the wrong clip here.
Oh, man. Okay.
No, but in all seriousness, though, right, that one scene having, him standing there with the cape, it was too heartwarming to be in this movie.
Yeah.
It didn't fit.
Felt like a tonal shift for me. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Hope? There's hope in this movie?
Yeah, right. It's not just his name. His name isn't just Hope Man. It's actually... So anyway, right, talking about... So we're talking about the opening. Again, as we said, should be cut. But you would have been into a Krypton show too, right?
Oh, definitely. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, sadly not a thing. But it's okay. It happens, Oh, by the way, I don't know about you, but Krypton stuff, sadly, maybe for some people, because let's be real, we can't talk for everyone, right? I'm sure there's someone who sat there who reads comics, right, and goes, no, but Krypton, some of my favorite stuff in books has been about Krypton. Not so much for you and I.
Yeah.
Or at least for me personally. I shouldn't talk for you.
But I'm not going to say I hated seeing it because it was cool to see, but at the same time, I bought my ticket to see Superman. I didn't buy my ticket to see Krypton. Right.
Okay. Was not expecting to see full frontal Superman.
No, I was. You want to know why I was? Because every damn movie that shows the birth of Superman, they show that. Every damn one.
Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry. That's just tradition. Baby is tradition. What's funny is they've done the same thing with Goku, which I think is hilarious. Bardock, father of Goku. You see him. You see it.
Yeah.
You also see it in Broly, because Broly's crying because Goku's crying, and they're in the same kind of like crib area together. So 2 movies that we see young Goku. I think even in the no, we don't really see young Goku much, I think, in the show. Maybe in Kai, I think, when they tried to like tie in Bardock for like 5 minutes. But whenever we see young Goku, that's what we see. Not in the American broadcast. That's why maybe you didn't realize it. But in the Japanese broadcast, yes, that is what we see. So,
well,
yeah. Here's something that I do appreciate. I think upon rewatching, I don't know if you appreciated it when watching it originally, before Batman v Superman. I appreciate Superman traveling the world saving people.
Definitely.
More. Now, I dislike some of his methods, but I appreciate him going around saving people because it just makes sense. Like, of course, someone who, he's Clark, he isn't Superman yet, but he still has this urge to save people.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Me too. I mean, there's something that negated it for me. And this, honestly, like, a lot of people can probably pick a lot of different things they didn't like about this incarnation of Superman.
Of course.
One of my big problems was they gave him horrible reaction time. Like, there were so many moments where it's just, if you watch the way it's filmed, it's like he's just waiting for someone to punch him. Like, one of them was at the end when him and General Zod are standing amidst the rubble of Metropolis. And Zod is giving a full speech. And then it just goes to show Superman just standing there as Zod shoulder charges him. He doesn't move. He literally just stands there to get shoulder charged. But the biggest offense that every time I rewatch this movie, it just infuriates me, is when Zod kicks the LexCorp fuel truck at Superman. And rather than Superman put out his arms or try to pick it up or stop it, he floats over it as it goes into the garage and blows up the whole garage.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say that much. Right? I'll give you that, rather. But what I will say is, I think that is the only part of those parts of the movie that I can actually defend when someone says to me, this is young Superman, so he's a bit different than his older, wiser self or whatever. Like, that's the thing that I'll give them, where, like, he's only been training on a farm. He actually literally just put on this suit. Like, he has, he has these powers.
Yeah, but it's the LexCorp one, because I mean, I understand you're dealing with the younger Superman, but it doesn't take a brain surgeon to realize if the fuel truck full of fuel hits a parking garage with parked cars, it's going to explode.
Right. Okay. So you're trying to say that it's a bit too much collateral damage, which, believe me,
he really could have, like, obviously Zod would have probably just plowed through the truck when he tried to stop it, but he could have at least shown the effort of putting out his hand to stop it from exploding the entire garage.
Okay. You're right then, because it didn't click at that point. Might have been writing notes, but overall, I mean, you look at the entire fucking city.
Yeah.
And you're like, and you're just, and again,
but that one in particular, I just single out because it's just, there was so much opportunity for him to stop it, and he just flies over it.
Exactly. And again, I do want to mention, I can mention this because it was in the trailers, Batman says, of course is obviously furious over, this such collateral damage. But again, it's just like, but we also could have not had that. So that's one of those weird, again, like one of those weird things where it's just like, to me, you're going to talk about, it's building on it. Yeah, but maybe we could have just not done it. But anyway, so one thing, and I think this is something that, we both have to just, like, get angry at. And I'm happy that we talked a little bit before the show and you were just as mad as I was. Pa Kent. See, let's talk about Pa Kent for a second. See, Pa Kent, I forgot his real name, Jonathan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Jonathan Kent. So Pa, that will always be his name. Ponathan Kent. Basically, okay, just like later on with the neck snapping scene, all right, I'm actually going to defend these two scenes, like him talking about Jonathan Kent saying that, like, Clark should literally have let a fucking school bus filled with children die, and the neck snapping. How am I going to defend that? How in any fucking way am I going to defend it? In context, and even Pa Kent dying, in context of what they put together themselves, it makes sense. In fact, I haven't said this on the air yet. If this was not a Superman movie and was a movie about a boy who became a superhero, 4 out of 5, maybe even 5 out of 5 stars. Only problem I think I would have had with it as a full-on movie, like as a movie devoid of Superman stuff, him and the girl, in this case Lois Lane, but again, we can't call her Lois Lane because it's not Superman. Him and the girl got together way too quick.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, right, it feels like everything was, good. But then you're like, but this is a Superman movie, and that's the filter we have to put on as fans, Superman. And when you put the Superman filter on, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And looking at Pa Kent, because again, we're not at the neck snapping or even Pa Kent dying. We're just at him talking to Clark while Clark is a fucking child. If you remove the filter, you look at Pa Kent and you're like, oh, that's something that it makes sense. A parent would do anything to protect their kid, even if it risks other people's lives. It's sad, but it's something that does make sense in the real world, in real world context. But you put the Pa Kent filter over it, and you're like, that is not who's fucking talking right now. That can't possibly be who is the one that's supposed to inspire Clark to do good and to have good moral values. Sits there and goes, honestly, if it keeps you hidden, I mean, you got to do what you fucking got to do. I mean, if it's you or 100 people, Clark, you every time. Remember, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of the many. Like, it feels like if that's his fucking Uncle Ben speech, holy shit. Imagine if that, remember, Peter, with great responsibility, just actually don't even have any of that. Just use your great power.
Just do whatever you want.
With great power comes a lot of fucking partying, Peter. Uncle Ben? You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and someone might say, well, that's not the movie they were going for. Well, then don't fucking make Superman.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you wanted something more like, no, but Batman is the kind of hero. If that's like your kind of thing, well, it's like, then that's fucking, that works with Batman. It works with Batman where his mom and dad, well, very nice people, were struck down. And hell, depending on your universe, depending on your interpretation, maybe weren't the nicest. Were struck down. And then he is just left with this, with this dread and everything, and then psychological problems, and then finds the scariest thing that he finds, which is a bat. And that turns him into a fucking bat monster at night. Like, that is some fucked up shit. But Superman is supposed to be, I'm doing this for everyone, and I am a beacon of hope. People should look to me and strive to, do better. Despite what Lex says, it's supposed to be people should do better because I am around, not people should be lazy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just so frustrating that, it's just his role model. It's just like, Clark, he didn't say full on kill the kids, but he said maybe, and I'm like, for fuck's fuck, man. How is maybe an option right now?
Seriously.
Now, I understand if he was like, you really needed to, if he told him you got to work on your craft, you should not have let them see you. You should have been dead until the truck was out of the thing. And then all of a sudden, all they would find is you, saving the kid. And it would have been like, wait, but who did that? I don't know. Clark, why are you winking? There's no camera over there, Clark. Why are you winking? You have to get that down at an early age. Just, I wonder who saved this truck full of people. I don't know. Clark, can you tell Superman that we want to just say thank you? Oh, I think he already knows. Clark, why are you winking?
Something wrong with your eye? Are you okay?
You got to work on that, when you're really young. No, but seriously, though, had his dad told him that, look, man, you gotta, it's really frustrating. In a way, they tried to write Pa Kent as a slight jerk just to make Jor-El look better.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, you can just have two, good father figures. Your stepdad doesn't have to be an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it was really bad. And mind you, he wasn't an asshole because, in theory, he still kept to his principles. So in a way, it's admirable. But at the same time, again, like, they're the ones who set it up that way. Like, we could have had, like, in that way, I think you are correct in saying Superman has shitty speed because someone should have been able to fucking save him.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God the dog's okay. I think that's
all that matters.
I'm not going to lie. I think that's what you and I and everyone in the theater, everyone in our group at least, we all sat there and went, oh, thank God the dog's okay.
Pretty much,
yeah. Anyway. So I've been talking a lot. You're not a fan of Pa Kent, at least in this film.
No. Definitely not.
So what do you think they could have done to potentially change anything? Just have him talk less?
Pa Kent in particular, I wouldn't even say talk less. Just, I mean, for God's sake, he doesn't have to be such an asshole about it. Like, right. You pretty much summed it up. I mean, all they really had to do was write him better. I mean, I understand, like, he doesn't want Clark to just put himself out there because there's a lot could happen. Obviously, he's thinking, well, let's say the government finds out, then they're going to want to take him in for testing. They're going to perform all these experiments on him. Obviously, he doesn't want to see his son go through that because that is his son. And we did have that really nice by-the-book cliche moment.
God.
He's not my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that was bad, but I liked the earlier scene where it's just like, but, what's it called? Like, am I not your son? Something. It's like, no, of course you're my son. That was a Pa Kent that I just wanted throughout the entire fucking film.
Exactly.
And sadly, I only got it there.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Pa Kent with the whole "you're not my dad," he seemed very rational about going, well, maybe we're not doing the best for Clark. And I was like, oh, that was actually a nice, just that one line really, and it sucks because I know someone might go, oh, you just focus on the negative. Look, we could have just not had that fucking line. And it would have been like, you know what, Pa Kent, you could have sat there and gone, Pa Kent, best done character in the film. But that one line, especially with the way everyone else was fucking treated so far, but that one line fucked it up completely, which is hard, but it's true. Now, everyone's going to know, most likely, what I'm going to say about Clark destroying the truck. Why do I think everyone knows? Because so far I've been negative. Now, Anthony, please tell me, what did you think about the scene where Clark destroyed that truck? And then I can add on whatever.
I initially laughed, not because I found it funny, although it was slightly humorous. I thought, Jesus Christ.
I think it was, I'm sorry to interrupt, I think it was put in for jokes. But again,
it definitely was.
We're comic book fans, so we can't laugh. Unless it's Deadpool. We can't laugh.
Literally, the guy throws the beer can at him and pours beer on him. So Superman, rather than try to just do some kind of Boy Scout speech or whatever, goes outside, says, you know what, I'll show him, picks up his pickup truck or whatever kind of truck it was, shoves it through about 10 freaking electrical poles where I don't even know there were 10 of them in freaking Kansas, and just walks away. Then the guy comes out, sees his truck, and he's like, oh, shit, who did that? Yes.
So that's the scene. Now, you described the scene. What did you think about it? That's my...
It bothers me because I understand you put it in there for humor, but that's not something Superman would do. I don't care if you're dealing with a more, unexperienced or irrational Superman. He still wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and the problem, mind you, now we're not saying he should have gone for violence because I admit that is one of the nicest things I think that Pa Kent brought to the film as well, trying to say, hey, you know how much stronger you are than them, right? But the idea is, again, the idea of him not trying to tell, it was very sad, I think, that Pa Kent in this film didn't try to get Clark to at least harness some of that, to try and train and work so that it's okay, I know some would say, but it's still suppression, but it kind of felt like he wanted Clark more so to just hide in a cave kind of suppression, rather than, you can live with everyone else, just try to breathe in, and if you are going to punch them, use if you're going to punch them, think about how, maybe when you blink, right? Maybe punch him with that kind of force. Hits a kid halfway through Kansas. Okay, maybe blinking was the wrong action. Because I don't know. I feel like, first off, again, I'm not saying he should have fought, but if he was, I still think he could have controlled it by that point. But I was talking to you about it earlier, and I'm happy that you agree. You have similar feelings about it. Boy Scout like monologue would have worked better. Because to be fair, it's so like, did the guy really sit there and just go, my truck has been destroyed and I threw beer on a guy. I'll never touch a woman's butt again.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, at least a Boy Scout monologue would have made it feel like that, everything's okay. Like, the girl later on when we see her was acting like he was a hero. Like, he just kind of said, don't. And then everything bad happened, and then he left. Now, I'm not saying he's a coward for leaving. I'm just saying that if a girl was being catcalled, right, and I was trying to be like, you know what, let me help the situation out. Because in a way, right, if someone's being catcalled, as a man, it's funny, right, because the woman can deal with it on her own, right? You don't have to step in. She is strong enough to deal with it on her own. But sometimes, sadly, men will only listen to other men. So sometimes as a man, you can step in. It's the only way it's fucking funny because it's like sad in a way, is that you can step in and go, hey, stop that. But it's like kind of a Superman which is like, stop that. I'm not going to stop shit. All right, I'm leaving. Like, that's actually what happened. And then later on, that guy's car gets like, you break his windows or something. Like, gee, he's going to sit there and go, oh no, I'm never going to catcall a woman again. My windows are broken. Like, it doesn't work. Like, it was, sadly, it turned a moment like that, of assault, right, into a comedic moment. Now, that wasn't their point. The point was like, oh, you mess with me, I'm going to mess with you harder. But it kind of like threw her out of the mix.
Yeah.
And it didn't put the focal point on Superman being like Boy Scout. It turned him into more of a juvenile, sophomoric kind of character, and I just wasn't a big fan of that. Also, you look at one of Pa Kent's teachings, right? The whole, don't hit him. Just don't hit him. You're going to kill him. But what if you're going to kill him? But if you're going to kill him. What if the dog will also kill him? Just don't. That dog's that dog's an MI6 agent. Don't.
Oh, Jesus.
Clark's like, Kansas is weird, son. But anyway.
Go to the city and don't go back.
Yeah. Your mom used to be part of the traveling circus.
Oh, God.
Like, she was like fucking working with the Graysons. Just go home. Just go to the city, son.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah. Anyway, what matters is this, right? What matters is that we, you look at him following one of Pa Kent's teachings. Don't punch him. Great. But be in the shadows, son. Even though the filter says that it's nighttime, or that it's, the filter says that it's dark, there's no way in fucking hell, even if there are only 10 people in Kansas, I doubt that all 10 of them were 9, because Clark is in Kansas. I doubt that all 9 of them were in that bar.
I'd also like to point out that how the hell did nobody hear that happen outside the bar?
That's what I'm trying to say. Also, I know this part is nitpicking, so thank you for that. This part is nitpicking on my part, not on yours. I'm talking about for what I'm about to say. Yeah. But let's be real. He just fucking took out power. Like you don't just find those power lines out of nowhere. No, he just hurt people's like potential phones, Wi-Fi act, whatever it might be. 911 calls can't happen now. People are dying because Superman was just like, I'm gonna mess with you harder, bro.
I'm honestly just picturing electricians now coming to the scene like, bro, I don't even know how we fix this.
It's really bad. Like, I understand they were like, no, but it was funny. It was just one-off, It's like it didn't register with me. It gave me a chuckle at first. Like at first it was like haha, but like immediately it set in like haha, fucking like okay. Looking at a Snyder quote, right? This is a Snyder quote. He tried to grow up Superman in Man of Steel. This is what grown-ups do.
I was about to say, like, I don't think you were successful, but okay.
Yeah, apparently grown-ups like to snap people's necks. But anyway. I don't like that Lois Lane already knows that Clark is Superman, because even though she is smart, right, at first I was like, oh, but she snooped her way into it later. This was years ago. Then I realized, wait a minute, no. She didn't snoop anything, in the sense that, yes, she followed a story. Yes, accurate. But she followed the breadcrumbs that she already kind of knew about anyway, because she knew how he looked because of earlier on in the film. So had it been one or the other, Like, had it been that one, and then maybe she thought about it later, or had she, like, knew about it, you know, or had she been trying to snoop and not had a UFO encounter with him, maybe it would have. But having both happen at once, it really felt like they just wanted to rush this romance.
Oh, they definitely.
And it didn't need to. It's a huge issue because, I mean, it's funny, right? You look at, what's it called? You look at the original Spider-Man trilogy with Raimi. Mary Jane and Peter getting together and then not getting together, having it go on for 2 movies really worked, in my opinion. Having them get together in the first movie would have been bad. A la, right, as in referring to Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh,
God. When even though I do enjoy parts of the film, I don't hate it as much as or dislike it as much as I dislike certain other superhero adaptations like this one, because that one got fucking Spider-Man right. Maybe not Peter Parker, but it got Spider-Man right. The fact that, you know, he and Gwen just get together and literally they have maybe like a couple days, maybe for us really 40 minutes. But so it didn't really work. And then in this movie, it also didn't really work. At least in my opinion. I thought that they really could have had another movie to build up, you know, but that's the problem when they kind of, like, I think they even knew for a while that it was going to be, like, I don't think that Batman v Superman came out of nowhere for them. I'm sure that they knew, then this would lead into that. But that's the huge issue when your second film is Captain America Civil War. See, Captain America's third film is Civil War. And also, we've had 2 Avengers, right? We've had a bunch of other, like, the only character, because, I mean, technically we're going to have new Spider-Man, technically, right? But putting him aside, the only character that will be introduced in Civil War that we've never seen before is Panther.
Yeah.
So everyone else, they have extended. So in other words, it would be like if this was, let's say, like Captain America Civil War was Iron Man's second movie. It would have been really bad if Iron Man's first had him and Pepper get together like that immediately.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's sort of kind of, the second one was more so, right?
Definitely. The first one, it was like mild flirting here and there.
Yes, mild. Thank you. I want to make sure, yeah. So again, like if the first one had them immediately get together, and then this was Iron Man's second movie, and then they're like married and everything. Not sure if they're married in Batman vs Superman. Just saying that like it just does not work in my opinion. Getting I don't know why it's been the standard, like the trope forever to get 2 people to fall in love in one movie, but man, is it very hard to do, and usually it just does not fucking work. At least to me anyway. I do not feel like that connection. Like it feels like they fell in love in 40 minutes.
Pretty much. Less, actually. But yeah.
Well, in this one, I think it was 40, because in this one, it was a 2.5-hour movie.
Even still.
Yeah. But anyway, so, I have in all caps, why the fuck are you showing me a 20-minute intro again? I think we'll skip that. We already talked about that. Okay, interesting thing. At some points, not at all points, but at some points, did you feel like Cavill looked too small in the suit?
No, actually.
Not short. I mean, like, not muscular enough.
Muscular-wise. Yeah, I actually didn't. Did you?
Really? Because when he came out of the fortress and he was trying to start flying, not when he was flying, but he was trying to start, I think they didn't really, like, do his muscles justice. Because when he actually showed up, when he walked over at the military base, I think, I saw his muscles and I was like, damn. But I was like, there we go. But when I saw him, just the angle that they used, I think they used some very poor angles, despite some great backgrounds. Very poor angles at certain points.
Definitely.
Like looking at Cavill standing in front of Lois Lane, it made it look like Cavill is either really, really short or Lois Lane is really tall. Now, nothing wrong with the tall woman, right?
Yeah.
But really tall. Like, I don't know if you noticed. I think right before they went into the base and they were standing, or right maybe after I think Superman was about to fly off. It's hard for me to remember exactly, but when you look it up and they're standing right across from each other, the camera is actually, instead of being far this time, it's close, because it was far for me when he was about to fly the first time. Yeah, the first time, he was about to fly too far, couldn't really see his muscle definition, made him look like he was very small man in suit. Very small man. He is not Superman. He is Superman. Different, completely different character. Right? Not copyright, not rip-off at all. Bro. But that was then, right? Referring to Superman, Lois Lane, they're so close that it literally looks like they're nearly the same height. Which is weird because, again, it makes Superman not look menacing or make Lois Lane make me feel like she's a bit more like Wonder Woman, who is really tall, or is supposed to be anyway. Like Wonder Woman, she can be like, I mean, I believe we've seen some adaptations in comic books where Wonder Woman has been taller than Batman, and it's been awesome. You know, like, it's really cool. Because she's an Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, duh. But in this case, it was just really strange to have her be that, you know, like either tall or Superman or Cavill really be that short. Where it was interesting because usually and mind you, I'm not saying that actors are behemoths. Usually you'd have a box or something, right? That happened in the Fast and the Furious films. But that's why you don't show them, like, their legs. Like, the way the thing was angled, it was just weird. It was a full body for both of them.
Yeah,
but,
I'm going to assume that's due to the angles, only because I have seen pictures of Adams and Cavill, and he is at least, I'd say, a head taller than her, not a little more.
Okay, then, must have been the angles or how they were
I got to chalk it up to
like
angles,
that.
or it could have been, like, they were directly across from each other, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
they were really close, though, but yeah. But still, that's the problem. You should be able to notice, like, he looks really, like, I think they were trying to be like, but it's going to be a romantic thing. It's just like, yeah, but for this 1 second while they're talking, it's really like, he looks really tiny. Like, I don't know how tall he is, but he looked really short there.
Yeah.
Like, mind you, I'm really short. Fair point. But he looked short. So, we already talked about Pa Kent dying. We talked about it being too dark. But, again, funny, not grim dark, just filter dark.
Yeah.
Like, because I think we talked about this when it actually came out, because we, thankfully we actually got to see this in theaters a couple years back. It really feels like, to me anyway, like this, even if you were going to keep the rest of it dark with filters, Metropolis should be the light, the shining city, the beacon of hope, right? The golden, So it's really sad that no matter at what point in the movie, minus 2 parts, literally 2 fucking parts, and this is only on Earth, minus 2 fucking parts, it's just dark everywhere. Not a big fan of that kind of tone.
Well, not in the slightest. At least not for a Superman movie.
Yeah, no. Batman, maybe. I can see it.
See, that's what I think.
But not.
That was my whole entire problem. That leads into what I thought the biggest problem with Man of Steel was.
Okay.
Now, we know Man of Steel was coming hot off the tracks of, like, The Dark Knight Rises. I think it was like a year later or so. So DC still had put almost all of its cards in Chris Nolan. And I think that was the problem. Chris Nolan with Batman is a fantastic match. They work well together. But he's not a good match for Superman. And I think that's what held this movie back a lot, was that they kept consulting Chris Nolan, and I have nothing against him. I think he's a fantastic director. I just don't think he's meant for Superman.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think that I think just DC's general modus operandi for Superman for Batman does not really, or their general universe does not apply to Superman, or I think to some of their other movies as well. So I really hope that a lot of other directors look at it as their pet project, like their whatever movie it might be, like Wonder Woman or whatever it is, so that Wonder Woman doesn't turn into Batman. More Superman movies don't turn into Batman movies. Because I really felt like this movie was them trying to be like, it's going to be like the gritty story of Superman, and then, and even though they might say, no, but now he's all about hope, like, unless we're going to get a third Superman movie that's going to be completely filterless, or rather lighter filters, and it's going to be about hope and love and peace, and Superman's going to be like the Superman that we know, unless we get that, which I would be cool with that. At this point, it feels like we just kind of got a Superman that was just very, dark and moody. And I don't know about him in Batman v Superman. I really don't. But I think what it is? I think it's just frustrating that, in a way, right, the way they were setting it up in trailers, in a way when Batman going, oh, but you let these people die, this, right? All this stuff that he seems to be mad at in a trailer.
Yeah.
I can't argue with him, and that's the problem. You want to be able to sit there and go, no, but man, you got it all wrong, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He's cool. Sure, he messed up a little bit, but he's cool. But it's like, no, like live on TV, you have him snapping Zod's neck.
Yeah.
And going, hi, Ma, I'm from Kansas. This S means hope. Hope I'm going to fucking snap your neck.
As he snaps the neck, this one's for you, Pa.
The S stands for hope. Hope that I end it quickly. You little shit.
I'm sorry, I'll never steal from the dollar store again. Please let me go.
How about I give you the Zod special? Please, no.
I don't know what that means.
Right. Let me explain this to you. There once was a man named Zod. I fucking killed him. But
fucking Batman in the corner. Just fucking Batman in the corner. Bro, that was kind of dark.
Batman in the corner, in the fucking shadows. Bro, that was kind of dark. Batman tells humor in the shadows. What's wrong with him? Oh, his humor's a little bit dark. Fuck you, Clark. But we should cut this. We should cut this right now. Not cut it out. We're stopping. We're moving on. Okay. Oh, the best scene in the film, at least regarding Superman, best scene in the film was him in church. It just felt natural.
Yeah.
It felt right. And sadly, so short. Shortest part. Mm-hmm. So short. I'm just so fucking flabbergasted right now just thinking about like how it was like, well, it was so good. And then it was done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it shows you that the best parts in life really are just fleeting. These moments are just precious, and you should hold on to them as much as you can. Because if you don't, you'll just get the rest of Man of Steel. That's what life is, really. Fleeting moments, and then the rest is Man of Steel.
So now, you said that was like one of your favorite moments. Would you argue that's the most Superman moment of the movie in regards to the character?
Potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, yeah. I can't think of any others unless maybe you bring it up, and I'll probably go, oh, that one, right? But just thinking about it, like,
the only other one I feel that was close to it, but just shy of it, was when he brought Lois down from Zod's command ship, and like she was going to crash in the pod, and he got her out, and they were having like this smile that lingered for way too fucking long, and all of a sudden he just lifts his head up like he heard something, and he just rushes Zod, who's like going after his mother, and he's pummeling his helmet. Yeah, he's just screaming, you don't, like something like, you think you can threaten my mother? I'm like, yes. And then you just fucking throw him through 2 gas stations. No.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. That was really nice. It was kind of just like, Doug? Squirrel?
Mm-hmm.
But that is how Superman reacts to things, like squirrel?
Yeah.
And then, so that was nice. Yeah, I do think that that definitely was, one of the most Superman moments. And yeah, the church thing, I think, because it's just, I don't know, it feels like something he would do, especially, like he's from Kansas, religious in the sense that he, although it's funny, really, sadly, I think that church scene was made more to just push the Jesus allegory more than fucking anything.
Probably.
Excuse me. No, because, I mean, we've seen it so much in this film. And mind you, in no way am I saying that they don't do it in the comics. I'm just saying that, my God, was it fucking here. The man was fucking... The man had... First off, he started off having the Jesus beard. We didn't talk about it in our notes this time, but when we first saw the movie, we were like, Jesus?
Even the way he was laying in the water.
Yes, and not just the water. When he came out of the ship and he was in this full-on Superman suit, and the way he left was like, you're literally on the cross right now. Because you saw it. He had his arms extended, and I was like, damn you. Damn you so hard. I was like, you guys really... And then, hell, the reason why I pushed the Jesus allegory, right? He's in the church, and he's sitting there, and behind him, to the left, Jesus.
Yeah.
You might not have noticed it because Henry Cavill was there, but Jesus was also there. Then again, maybe you noticed Jesus more than Henry Cavill, since Henry Cavill, I don't know if you know about this, Anthony, was in New York about a week or so ago.
I am still mad about that.
So you heard about that, right? I mean,
I
you
was
would
so mad.
You don't live. I mean, at least it's not like he was in Queens. You know, if he was in Queens, then I'd be pissed. But if he was at my job, I'd be furious.
Oh yeah.
But no, he was in Times Square. And if it was another story, Henry Cavill was in Times Square with a Superman shirt, and nobody stopped him. Which either shows you that, hey, it actually works.
That's literally what he wrote when he put the picture on Instagram. To the naysayers about the glasses, they do work.
Yeah, or people maybe going, is that? No. It may have been heavy amounts of that. Like, it can't be. No. You know? Also, I will say, I do think, I don't know Henry Cavill. Well, obviously, we don't know any celebrity, like, as a person. But what I mean by that is I don't know, like, how he dresses. Right? Because I feel like you look at Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp has a particular outfit.
Yeah.
You know? Like, same thing with, let's say, like, Mick Jagger, you know? Or, so these people have, like, specific outfits, I think, that if you see them in them. Like, I think if we saw Cavill in the Superman outfit, now, that would obviously kill everything. But the point is that I feel like because he was in normal clothes with the glasses and just a Superman shirt, I think people were like, oh, he's just some big nerd fan. And then walked away. And it didn't click.
Yeah.
But it was really funny, though, that he fucking did that. And if he is to be believed, nobody showed up. Like, nobody noticed. There were no crowds.
Yeah. And what's great
just
is after that, he went into Midtown Comics and signed people's stuff.
And no one knew who he was either. He was like, who do I make this out to? I'm sorry, why are you holding... What? Yeah, no, who do I make this out to? Who are you? Why are you holding my comic book?
Oh, God. Someone just shows up thinking he's a big celebrity. Can you sign my copy of Batman?
I feel like, not even that, just can you sign, I don't know, can you sign, like, Ant-Man or something? I just bought the new issue or something. Can you sign that, I guess? I mean, maybe it'll be worth something.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Literally, it's Midtown just fucking goes, today we have, like, they have a sign outside, just, it has his face, but it just with the question marks under his name. Everyone's like, I don't know who that is. Who is that? Is that Christopher Reeves? Anyway, so, we should move on. I think here it's an S part has always been a mix, for me anyway, between cute and cringeworthy.
Definitely.
Like, a lot better than the whole Dr. Doom over here fucking thing.
Oh, God.
In the newer Fantastic Four. But definitely cute, you know? A bit more like how at the end of the movie, they were just like, you know, Ben Grimm, we're talking about Fantastic Four, was like, oh, yeah, you know, it's kind of fantastic. And I was like, can you say that one again? Like, it was a mix between that and Dr. Doom over here. Shut the fuck up. So it was nice. It was a nice moment. It's just, it's weird because I don't remember, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't remember a lot of canon, like a lot of Superman canon mentioning that the S isn't for super.
They never said it wasn't for super, but it's literally just supposed to be the letter S on Krypton.
For Hope? Or it's just the letter S?
No, just literally just the S.
Oh. Well, shit. One thing I want to mention,
obviously, after the movie came out, they changed that in the comics pretty damn quickly.
Right, of course. They were like, no, never mind, it's for Hope. See, Hope. See? Instead of fucking just being like, actually, Superman's died now. There is no Superman anymore. They didn't take the Fantastic Four approach. So anyway, I do want to mention, I do feel like we haven't really talked about the suit a lot, and I know usually, you know, we're podcasting, we make jokes. I know the inside we really want to just crack a joke about how it's like, has no underwear. People thought that would fix things. Just brought a lot more attention to that crotch. But But didn't know who was wearing the suit, just noticed what was in the suit. But what I wanted to mention was we, like, putting that aside, right, doesn't it kind of take a little bit of, like, the boyhood charm of Superman to kind of not have it be a stitched suit?
I think so.
Like, not that I'm saying that it's bad, but, like, I don't know, like, it would be weird to me if, like, Batman I know Batman is not an alien, but like if there were like bat aliens that were like, we've given you technology, you will become Batman. Yes, alien bat technology. Like it would feel weird to me if that was just how he was presented his suit. Like Spider-Man, right? Even if he's going to get some, in Civil War, get some modifications by Tony, because that's kind of what happened in the comics, I like how they didn't introduce him in a full-on Iron Man decked costume.
Yeah.
Because that's his first appearance. And frankly, it looks even more low-tech in a way than Amazing Spider-Man did. And while I enjoyed that Amazing Spider-Man suit, I like a low-tech looking suit. Now, I know Superman isn't a ground-level hero, and he's flying pretty fast. So, like, I can understand the whole, like, the suit burned up, right?
Yeah.
But it is weird, I think, that, like, they just immediately were like, and now you have this beautiful Superman suit. And it was kind of like people try to talk about fan theories and rumors and stuff where, like, it really feels like Jor-El just tried to basically recruit his son to be in his army without his say whatsoever. The suit really helps that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, though, do you like the suit?
I don't hate it. I think it's a bit too dark, but again, frankly, with everything else in the movie, it's the lightest thing there.
I mean, honestly, that's the problem. The filters made it look so dark, but if you look at set photos, it's pretty damn bright.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was really horrible. Because I remember seeing the set photos, I'm like, this suit looks awesome. When the movie comes, I'm like, what? Why did you do the filters for this?
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed. So the colors weren't even that bad to me. It's just the idea that it was kind of alien tech, which it's funny too because you look at it in the New 52, right? So newer comics. It looks more like armor, and I'm kind of okay with that. But I think because it didn't look like armor, it just looked like. Granted, it did fit in with what everyone else on Krypton was wearing, so it did fit into their style.
Yeah.
I guess I would have preferred the way if it would have looked more like, even though it would have added on to the fucking warrior thing even more, if it looked more like Zod's battle armor than it did his normal Under Armour.
Oh, okay.
Because it looked the Superman suit, other than the cape, in a way didn't look superhero-y compared to Krypton standards. It was just like a normal dude walking around. Like, Superman was walking around, they'd be like, hi, dude, what's up? Hey, Kal-El. How you doing, man? Oh, cape? All right, pretty cool. Whatever, kind of flashy. But other than the cape, it's pretty standard. But with that armor, if they had made it more armor-looking, like, again, New 52, I do think it would have been a little bit more interesting. Like in terms of like how, the whole outfit would have, I think it would have popped maybe a little bit better, maybe look more like he can fight, but it's not too clingy. And it would have, even if he didn't have the underwear, on the outside underwear, I think as armor it would have looked a bit better than just being like, because that's the reason why I think at some points it didn't look like he had muscles going on, because it clung too much to him. It felt very skin tight.
Yeah.
Anywho, so let's see what's going on here, because I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, what have we already talked about? We have talked, a little bit too romantic for them. Again, just, like too quickly anyway. Lois escaping from, please.
No, I was going to say, we talked about Superman, Jor-El a bit, Lois Lane a bit too. What did you think of General Zod?
I actually, what's funny is, I feel like he was a bit more subdued in like his theatrics, but it's okay because he is a soldier, and I don't remember the actor's name, but he played him very well as as a soldier. Like, I am the commander. I'm not going to be sitting here like General Zod. It's just I'm going to be very like calm and collected, and I think he did that very well. I will admit, though, and I don't think it was against him. I think it was just the scene itself, trying to set it up, jumping all the way back to Krypton. I will find him.
Yes.
Was not. It was. I don't blame him. I blame what he was given.
Definitely.
Because I think that became a meme for a very long time.
Oh, it still is.
Oh, thank you. That and the what's it called? The skulls. More blood for the blood god. Is one that I remember from a while ago. that I think we used to say on the air, actually. Well, shit. More blood for the blood god. But yeah. Anyway, so the point is that I think Zod was done well. Really, all I sat there and thought was, no facial hair. Years later, yay, facial hair. So I enjoyed Zod. I enjoyed his two henchmen in the sense that, like, I enjoyed how they wanted to set them up fighting Superman before fighting Zod. I do think, though, it was a little frustrating that they broke his helmet so early that he had the time to readjust. And I say that because I think the helmet breaking would have been a great way for Superman to get the upper hand, not to kill him, but to get the upper hand before Zod either gets sentenced to the Phantom Zone again or something happens. Mm-hmm. Right? I think it would have been nice for that to be the way Superman gets the upper hand rather than kind of just have Zod be able to get on the same, like, level as Superman and be a trained warrior. And make it feel like, oh, no, Superman, it's funny. It was like, Superman can't do this until he can, because somehow, even though it's like Zod's a trained warrior, and it's like, you don't have to kill me. Fine then. Kills him. He wasn't that happy with it, but still, kills him. And it was like, I thought Zod was a warrior, couldn't flip the guy over you. You can also fly now, man.
Seriously.
Yeah. But anyway. Going back, but yeah, Zod overall, enjoyed Zod. Perry was nice. Not much from Perry, but he still got the job done, Yeah. It was nice to see him trying to help save everyone. We didn't, we won't talk about Batman v Superman, but talking about it outside of that context, stuff we've heard behind the scenes. The woman that we saw was not Jimmy Olsen, but was Jimmy Olsen's sister? Was that what it was?
They never really address that in anything.
No,
it's
because
literally just like you have the same last name, and that's all we're going to say about it.
Oh, because I remember them saying, oh, Jenny Olsen, and many of us thought, wait, was Jimmy turned into Jenny? But then I remember hearing backstage, like behind-the-scenes stuff like, oh, no, that's just his sister. So I was thrown off. Like, I'm going like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the one thing they never clarify.
Oh, so they didn't actually even cover that at fucking all.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a problem, I guess, in my head. Like, that's the one thing I think that really gets me angry, the idea that, like, you kind of need that kid, or rather, he's not a kid at this point anyway, or she wouldn't be. But you kind of need that, like, oh, hey, Superman, kind of thing. Like, not like a love interest thing at all now that it's a woman. Like, no. Now that Jimmy's a woman, no. But still, hell, in a way, and I know this, might seem comical at first, but I'm being completely serious, because I would never joke about this. It would have been nice to see Jimmy possibly represented as Jenny, as a trans character, because, now it gets a little wacky, sadly. In the comic books back in the day, we had Jimmy actually cross-dress a lot, not because he enjoyed it or wanted to or that's how he felt comfortable. It was more so like, I'm going to trick so-and-so by dressing up as a lady. He was a very convincing lady. So, like, that would have, like, yeah, like, that's where it kind of, like, is comical and wacky because it wasn't trying to be, like, sadly, it wasn't trying to be, progressive. It was just, like, the standard trope of, like, I'm going to dress up as someone different or be in costume, but it was always a woman. It was a woman a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, do you know about that, right, Anthony? It was a lady a lot. He dressed up as a lot of women.
I didn't. I honestly didn't know that.
Oh, well, you're going to have to look it up. He dressed up as a woman a lot. So, I think this is news to you. Now you're looking it up. You're like, that's fucking with me. No, he did. So I think this would have been one of those times where it actually would have been cool to tackle a trans character. I'm sure they didn't have the time in general, but still it would have been nice to tackle a character, even if it's not trans, just a character that you've turned into a woman in general, the same way that, you could, we've talked about this, right? African-American, like Perry being played by Lawrence Fishburne, not a problem at all. A little strange, though, because it just occurred to me, it's like, oh, shit, Silver Surfer was in this movie. But just hit me. But, God, that would have been terrible. Just, I know who you are, Superman. I am the Silver Surfer. oh no, Galactus. By the way, oh wow, this makes my joke that I actually wrote very early on make sense. When Krypton was destroyed, it was like, did you see Galactus in the background? He was the cloud. Did you see the cloud in the background? I think Galactus was trying to eat Krypton.
Oh my god.
But anyway, I do think, though, it would have been nice to tackle more of the character of Jenny, regardless of where you wanted to go with said character. But sadly, we just didn't. Like, it was just like Superman's boyhood friend? Who the fuck is that? Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, Jimmy matters. Like, or Jenny in this case. They matter. Or, again, if Jenny is just Jimmy's brother or sister, okay, that's cool, too. But whatever, we can't. Because, interestingly enough, I know we had Luther to kind of fanboy. Wouldn't it have been great if that was Jimmy?
Oh, God. Huh.
Like, yeah, right? Like, just thinking about it, like, wow, that does seem like something Jimmy would do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so, okay. Lois escaping from the ship, that's what I wanted to mention, was really nice. Like, with her and Jor-El kind of helping her.
Yeah.
Or the spirit of Jor-El. I think that was really nice. It was done well. Also, it was just that, in a way, like that comedy worked. It was like, turn your head to the left. What? Punch. I was like, okay, this is good. Like, they knew what they were doing. They knew that this would be a funny scene, right? Where, like, she's going from hallway to hallway, and, like, you could just see how, like, him popping up each and every time. It's like they knew people were going to laugh at that.
Oh, definitely.
And it's okay. Again, there's nothing wrong with this movie being funny. It needed to be funny. The problem was that it was overwhelmingly cynical and, just kind of sad. And then it became funny, or at least more upbeat, at the end, after a guy's neck got snapped. And I say that repeatedly because it is at that point that you're supposed to be at your saddest point and your deepest, darkest point of the film. And then they didn't want to focus on that.
Exactly.
So what is it? Looking at, good fucking God, Lois Lane. Cops are right over there. Clark! Shut the fuck up.
Thank you. Oh, my God.
Shut the fuck up. But they don't have super hearing. I don't give a shit.
That was literally, honestly, in my mind, in the movie theater. I literally went, can you shut the fuck up there right there? Jesus Christ.
I remember that. It was great because we're sitting there. We're like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, you know what it reminds me of? And mind you, she's a fucking reporter, so you fucking know this. It reminds me of when I was talking to my students today. Like, my students were, just talking and, they don't realize that the voice carries. I mean, hell, they're speech and debaters. So, like, they should realize their fucking voice carries. But they're young. Like, it's okay. You have to teach them, like, guys, if you're going to, let's say, go, like, even if you're saying nice things, because they were saying nice things. They're like, that person has, like, a nice bag or that person has a nice shirt on. It's just like, guys, they're not as far away from us as you think they are. And even if they are, where we are right now, there's walls around us that echo. What are you doing? What are you doing? They are not that far down. And I'll give you the landscape of it later, Anthony, because you went to the school, so you know. But like they were just like saying very nice things, but it was like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? I didn't say it that way. I don't curse at my students. I was like, guys, seriously, stop it. Why? Why did you think that was appropriate? Why? They were like, I didn't say anything wrong. I'm like, I know, but it doesn't matter. So like, but in this case, it was the most wrong thing in the world. Hell, even later when Superman was like, hey, come on, I was born in Kansas. Nobody should know who you are. Stop the talkie. Start the punchy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nobody should know anything. Like, the government is already trying its hardest to spot you, and you broke their thing. Now they know where exactly to be. Like, wait a minute, did he say Kansas? Oh, shit. We're going to send a lot of fucking drones. Yeah, right, a lot of fucking drones to Kansas now. And if Superman happens to show up in some fucking fuck farm. Sorry, very mad. Also, because I can't get words right, too. So it's a little bit of both. Fucking fuck farm. That should be a quote. That should be on a new Those Guys t-shirt on cafepress.com/CGOTR merchandise. Just fucking fuck farm. Matt Marrero. But anyway, what I'm trying to say here, everyone at home, is that it was just a really, like, there were certain things that, even though I will admit, it was kind of like I chuckled at like, what, you can't get more American than that. And I was like, ha, but now they fucking know you're in Kansas. Great fucking job.
Yep.
Like, not trying to, like, I don't know, like, I feel like this movie, when it tried to be funny, they tried to make things that we're not supposed to, like, think, like, that has some ramifications, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, so, yeah, so, also the fact that, we're not at the end yet. Let's not do this yet. Oh, by the way, so, Metropolis, right? Not, at least at first, not all of Metropolis was destroyed.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting because I thought it was all destroyed, and it was like, oh, wait, no. The parts that were destroyed were razed, like were fucking just demolished. But there was actually some of Metropolis left standing, and I was happy about that. I was like, Anthony, I was wrong. I want to come on the podcast and say, I was wrong. And then the extra fight with Zod happened.
Oh, God.
And they didn't give a fuck.
Not at all.
And I was so mad because I'm like, guys, it's just, guys, why?
Oh, man. See, the thing is, like, they did one. This is another case of like the LexCorp tanker truck that I was talking about earlier, where they did something small that I appreciated, which was Superman trying to get him into outer space to take the fight up there.
Right.
I thought that was a good touch. Then Zod chucked the Wayne satellite at him, brought him back down. So I think it would have been nice to see Superman try to get him up into space like one more time before he's just like, fuck this, I need to stop you.
Yeah, no, I think the problem is that, like, Superman didn't have any words to be like, look away, because there was a family there. I made that joke when it happened.
Yeah.
I was like, family of four, snap the necks, Come on, kids, look. Like, he wasn't trying to actually go for that. I mean, even the scream right after, you can sense this dread, and this profound sadness. He did not want to do this.
Of course not.
The problem is that he did it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just, like, in real life, and I don't know why I'm trying to equate this to real life, but to be fair, they were trying to go for a real life feel in certain ways. I can't just sit there and be like, I didn't want to kill him, but I had to. Okay, a jury will basically have to, determine that, but all right. Like, you can't just do that shit. And I know, like, technically that sets up Batman v Superman, I guess, arguably. But still, I mean, my point is that, like, I just would have preferred him being caught in the Phantom Zone and having more. Because now also, we all, like many superhero films, we have to look at the fact that even if this franchise goes on for 8 more movies, we're not going to have any Zod. No Zod. Zod's dead.
Yeah.
Now, I know, mind you, it's comic books, everybody. But, Matt, where do you think you are? But still, I don't know. I prefer the idea of, like, Zod being kept in the Phantom Zone.
Well, the problem with that is there is no more Phantom Zone now.
Well, then where were they brought to?
The other ones were brought to the Phantom Zone, but the only access Superman had to it was destroyed. So now, like, even if you wanted to send the villain there, he can't.
Well, no. I know that. No. That's I'm not saying. I'm saying that he should have been caught up in the they should have moved fights like this earlier, and then moved the whole everything's getting sucked in to the end.
Okay.
And that in turn would have meant him being caught in the Phantom Zone.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or to be to make things a little bit nicer, calmer for the kids. Maybe like create some kind of super prison, right? And it'll be think about, maybe something like Arkham, maybe something like, what the Suicide Squad has, except that because Zod can potentially break out easier, it's just something that's just a perpetual feeling of pain and suffering, just constantly stabbing him or something, Maybe just kryptonite, just constantly getting put right into his lungs, Just nice, something that the kids can go home and smile about with mom and pop, Something that the kids can go home and smile about. Let's be real. That could have happened, and we'd have been like, yeah, pretty much. For this fucking movie, yeah.
I was just thinking put him under a red sun, but Jesus Christ, you want to put kryptonite into the dude's lungs.
Perpetual prison of pain and suffering.
Oh, my God. Like, dude, the red sun just dampens his powers, but he can still fucking function.
They don't know about the red sun yet, though. Do they? At least in this film, they don't.
They could have taken out the extra 20-minute recap of the first 20 minutes and put that in.
Basically, yeah. You see, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I said earlier. You know, we weren't able to develop certain things because we had 2 intros.
Yeah.
We had Zod explaining himself twice because it was once in the intro and then again to Superman.
Mhm.
Like, it was, and again, it turned into a 2.5-hour movie anyway. So it's like, man, we really could have either cut that down to 2 hours or add in a lot, like, more stuff, good stuff, to make it go to 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
But all jokes aside, I was such a fucking horrible. Let's be real though. That sounds like it would fucking happen in the Superman movie though.
Yeah.
With the tone they were setting.
Definitely.
Oh my god. But yeah. So again, he didn't want to snap their necks, snap Zod's neck rather. But I feel like in front of that crowd of people, there were 2. Well, not crowd. There was 4, but there were 2 kids. He could have said, "Please look away." Like such like let's look on his face. Like I don't. Please don't. You know, like I know it would have seemed a little dumb if after he snapped his neck, he's like, "Don't try this at home, kids." Mommy, there's blood on his hands. But I do feel like, oh my god,
I'm gonna be just like Superman.
That's the problem. Yeah, it kind of gives off that vibe. You know, which again, because again, kids were supposed to. Because you're going to say, "Oh, I won't take my kid to go see Batman v Superman." First off, that should not be the tone of your superhero movie. But putting that aside, putting that aside, I do feel like, you know, Man of Steel, that should have been the one where it's like, yeah, kids should really go see this and be able to get great moral compass, moral guidelines from Superman. Now I know, should you be getting your morals from like comic books and superhero movies? No. Right? I'm like, yes, you have parents or you have guardians or you have someone there that should be able to help you a lot better than entertainment would. But still, Superman is a character that is made to do that though.
Yeah.
Like even in like the 1940s, 50s maybe? I can't remember the exact year this publication came out. But there was a picture made of Superman, approved by DC, where he, mind you, at a time where everyone's like, oh yeah, back in the day everyone was racist and terrible and everything, right? No. Superman said, remember, appreciate everyone for who they are despite all of their differences, because that's the American way.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wow. Like, it came out years ago. Like, I think, like, either 40s to 60s, somewhere in that area. So all of a sudden, I'm like, potentially before civil rights. Wow. Like, that means something, you know. Now, yes, I'm not saying that Superman was racist in this film. I'm just trying to say that the idea is that Superman embodies these ideals that people can actually look to and go, I actually want to be more like that guy.
Exactly.
So it is, and also, right, you look at someone like Cap, and while someone might say the same thing about Cap is a soldier, you know? Yeah. He is. So you can understand, you know, maybe some killing going on here or there. But that's not Superman. They even make it a point Superman's not a soldier. So I think it was just a huge mistake to have him snap Zod's neck. Now, again, the scene did lend itself to it. They had to go that route. They actually did. But again, if this was not a Superman movie, 4 out of 5 stars, 5 stars maybe, 5 out of 5. But not for Superman. This is why it's, for me, 2 out of 5. You know, or like a 4 out of 10.
I was not expecting 2. I was honestly thinking 2.5, 3. Damn.
Maybe 2.5. I'll give you that. But like 3, the problem with 3 is that 3 out of 5 means more than half of the things were good in this film and made me think of Superman. Like, you see what I mean? Like, think about it like that. Yeah. Like, the movie is around Superman. So, therefore, if Superman himself is flawed and not like Superman that I know or that we all know, that in turn makes it lesser than for me. Especially also having in the forced love story, also having in, you know, too much intro twice. And some CGI that, I mean, again, they tried, but it's still pretty dated. So I want to see more Superman flying, hopefully in a third installment, and we can kind of see, like, how it progresses. You know, we're in 2016, 2017 CGI. But anyway, so you know what I want to know, though? I want to know, what do you think of, because we actually haven't talked about this while we're wrapping some things up, what do you think of Cavill's performance as Superman?
Here's the thing, because a lot of people, I've spoken to a few people about this, like, that I go to school with, and some of them like him as Superman. Some of them don't like him as Superman, particularly because of Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Where I come in on this is I think he did a great job with what he was given.
Same.
I think the potential is there for him to be one of, if not arguably, the best Superman we've had on screen after Christopher Reeve. It's just he hasn't been given the right material to prove that yet.
Right. Do you think he'll ever get that material?
I think he got a bit of it. I can't get into specifics, but I think he got a bit of it.
Right. So you think he got a bit of it in Batman v Superman?
Yeah. I mean, he still has a decent way to go, but I think he's definitely getting there. Because there were moments, obviously I'm not going to say, there were moments where I just went, wow, this is what I wanted.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's good. I'm happy to hear that. So, all right, let me see what else I have here. Oh, some of the lines during the fight between Zod and Superman at the end were actually some of the best in the movie, I think.
Oh, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the whole, like, what, were you just on some farm in Kansas and stuff like that? Like him really shit-talking. I think it was done well. Also, I want to say that the fight in Smallville, like earlier in the film, while we thought that was, I love how we were sitting there like, man, all that collateral damage, it's terrible. Oh, just you wait.
Nothing at all compared.
Yeah. I think we said it in the theater. We were just like, oh, man, this is, or like afterwards, we were like, we thought that was bad, but then. One thing I want to mention, though, is that I like the fight. Again, I liked him fighting the subordinates. It sucks that the Colonel had to die. He did not, like, he's usually alive in the comics, though, right?
Colonel Hardy we're talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, they just killed him because.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Right, why
I will say with
not?
the subordinates, though, I thought Feora was fantastic.
Yeah, she did very well. Her actress and everything. I really loved the whole, the vibe and everything going on. Like the fight scenes were great. I loved I love the special effects that they used. Again, a little bit outdated, but I still loved what they did. And I say outdated. Here's why I say outdated, right? It felt too much like a video game. And if you're getting that, and here's what I mean by that too, right? Felt too much like a video game. And the last time I remember CGI fights being more like that, not even in like Green Lantern. They were better in Green Lantern. That was 2011. Go back to, like, Matrix Revolutions.
Yeah.
Or Reloaded.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, like, Scorpion King. But that was 2001. Scorpion King was 2001. And Matrix was 2003, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
This movie came out in 2012.
Yeah.
But I still liked the flying scenes, though, I want to be honest. The only one that I had a problem with was some of the ways they tried to animate Superman flying was bad. I'm sorry, not flying, my bad, hovering.
Mm-hmm.
Most of his hovering was shit.
Yeah.
Like, in the way that they tried to put him in, like, Zod punches him, instead of him just standing up, he hovers up. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, how did you feel about, maybe you already answered and we've just been talking about so much it threw me off. What did you feel about how did you feel about the Zod getting his neck snapped scene?
I'm so torn with that scene. Because on one hand I understand why it happened, because, he somehow, due to the magic of screenwriting, survived the Phantom Drive, sucking everybody in.
Right.
And then there's also the fact that you can argue all day, like, well, Superman could have thrown him back up. Like, yeah, he could have, and then he would have kept fighting, and they just would have kept fighting and fighting until someone kills the other one. So I understand for the sake of the movie it had to happen. I know some people justify it where it's like, well, this teaches him that he doesn't have to kill people. I'm like, well, he's Superman. He should have known that from the start. So I don't like it, but for this particular movie, I understand it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you. So you understand it, but you don't like it, which again is a bit like my own interpretation. Where, like, again, it makes in the story they put out, it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I just heavily dislike it, and I think that we can easily, in my opinion, just look at the script and rewrite. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as if, like, in a way, I feel like some people, by accident, just kind of be like, no, but it was written this way, as if, like, it comes to you, like it's a vision. Like, no, I can't change it. If I change it, I alter the course of history. It's a movie. Like, it's just, no, but if we change that that would mean that everything we've ever known, it's like, Doc Brown, relax. This is a film. We're not talking about our lives.
Now, one thing I am going to say in regards to the defense of the neck snap is,
Okay.
like when I had mentioned before that there are certain things in this movie that had to happen for Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was one of them.
And look, and again, I don't even think we even, like, you don't need to mention any spoilers, obviously, but I don't even think spoilers need to even come up, because just in the trailer alone, you see Batman clearly being upset, and we have this vibe that it's probably going to be because of that. Because, again, people know about that. That didn't get swept under the rug.
Again, no spoilers, slightly different reason than that. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but yeah, so looking at some of my notes as we're wrapping things up, yeah, I mean, as we said earlier, you know, it's pretty bad, in my opinion, that it's pretty bad that we, what's it called? We had that huge tone shift where, like, the moment where we really needed to see the Superman in pain and everything, we just get a cut to a year later, and everything's fine. The city, by the way, looks great, doesn't it?
You know what bothers me so much about that?
That the city was perfect? No shots of Superman, just the city's perfect.
Hey, it's literally the fact that they could have saved a decent chunk of this movie had they gotten rid of the Krypton re-explanation. I know I keep harping on that, but had they gotten rid of that and put in a nice montage, because I love the ending music, put in a nice montage of that year that passed, showing Superman help rebuild the city with the construction workers.
Yeah, because you can sit there and go, oh, it's implied. You shouldn't be actually watching a movie. You shouldn't be watching a movie and go, oh, that was implied.
Yeah, don't leave it up to people to be like, well, Superman had to have helped him, right? Don't let them assume. Just show them Superman helping them. Show him interacting with all the people, the regular men, and just helping them out.
Yeah, if it's too much money to have him fly around just to, you know, just to fix things, I get that. Have some stills or something. Maybe some pictures, you know? Hell, I think that would have been the fucking best time to have Jenny actually have pictures of Superman.
Exactly.
That would have been the best time to have Jenny be like, you know, I took some pictures of him. We actually got to know each other. He's a great guy.
Exactly.
You know, it's like, I think I might be the official photo taker of Superman now and be like, God damn it. That would have made me sit there and be like, finally, yes! Something happened. That actually is a thing. I might be his number one fan. Please just stop talking, Jenny. My heart can't take all of this. Please.
He gave me this watch, and if I press his shield, he'll come.
Oh, my God, it's exploding. My heart is actually exploding. Oh, good God. Oh, actually, call 911. Sorry, Superman destroyed those power lines. Can't get through.
I'll use my signal watch. It's fine.
Basically. No, but it would have been beautiful had something like that happen. Sadly, no, we couldn't fucking get that, could we?
No.
And mind you, for anyone wondering, but Matt, come on, how hard is it to fix the city? The MTA is thinking about, we're in New York, is thinking about shutting down lines because of Hurricane Sandy damage. The damage was, 3 years ago now? Longer? Yeah. So long, like years ago, the Sandy damage. And did it destroy the MTA, like parts of it? Oh, yes, it did, actually. We're not going to take that away from Hurricane Sandy. What we're going to fucking say, though, is that they've, for weekends, for some, nearly every single weekend, depending on what train you're on, right? They've actually limited service just to fix it. But, of course, because people are still using other trains or using trains in general, it isn't fixed fully. So they're actually contemplating, or at the very least have said, most have said yes, to shutting down both the L and M at different points.
Oh, God, yeah, the M is going to be shut down for almost the entire summer.
Yeah.
That's really bad because where we live, that's our gateway to the outside world.
Well, where you live. I actually can take the L. But here's the thing, right? That's the problem, though, because even though the M will be just fine, then they're going to have to fucking shut down the L, and that's literally my only way to get to anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the M doesn't connect into the city. The M actually, for anyone wondering, like, wait, what's going on? What are they talking about? We live in Queens, right?
Yeah.
Manhattan is not New York, okay? There's other places. We live in Queens, so for us, it is very hard to get into Manhattan, to get anywhere, unless you take the M or the L, or maybe even the M to the L, because the M goes through Queens before going, the M goes through the city, yes, but it takes a while, and also it doesn't have the same stops. Not every, like where you live, maybe, right? Not every train has the same stops, even if they're on similar lines.
Yeah.
So by saying, oh, we're not having the L being a thing for, I think almost about a year, 2 years they're planning.
Yeah.
Like in 1 to 2 years they're going to shut it down. But yeah, they're going to shut it down for like a full fucking year. It's a problem. It's a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
There's bad shit going on is the point. And you can tell me that an entire city, basically Manhattan, if it were destroyed in that way, can just be fixed in a year? No. Superman did that, but no mention of it whatsoever, not even a news report.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but not just that, by the way. As we're wrapping things up, I have to be real quick, but I think you also, can think of this as well, or you've thought of it as well. The fact that, we had this huge battle with Superman and everything bad happened with Superman, and it is then that he's like, you know what I'm going to do? Join the Daily Planet. It doesn't matter if it was a year. If you're going to try and throw that realism spin, it doesn't matter if he has glasses. If you try and throw in that realism spin, the new guy might be Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you try and throw in that spin. Why? It wasn't me. I'm not the one who made Lois Lane figure it out in 2.5 seconds. Just by following one guy, leading it right back to Ma.
Oh, jeez.
I.e. Martha Kent. Or, if we combine the names, right? Martha, shit. Fuck, did not work like Ponathan. Fuck.
Marthma.
Anyway. What?
Marthma.
You just made a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh card? What the fuck are you... I summon Marthma! Damn it, Weevil! Anyway, so... it fucking sounds like... fucking insect card. Anyway, so, the point is, right, I think the point of all of this is that this movie sucked. Now, did it suck completely? No, it did not, right? I just think that personally, and you told me yourself, right, you, it was definitely trying to go for a bit of a birthright, potentially secret identity feel to it. But then they also just said, wait, but let's also punt those books.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And another thing, too, by the way, I think it's also the fact that, not that I want to go on a huge copyright rant, but because Superman and Batman are not characters in the public domain, this isn't just an interpretation of Batman Superman. They don't license out, even saying that, taking into account, let's put public domain aside and just say oh, no, but they're DC's copyright no matter what. They don't license out the right to make more than one Batman film in the way that we have more than one Batman and Superman comic. Now, of course, they're all in-house by DC, but the point is that you can have so many different interpretations of Superman Batman per year. Let's not talk about per every couple years, per year. That it is sad to me that this is the interpretation of Superman that we have currently.
Yeah.
I think that's what really gets me, and that any fan film done is just complete, it can actually be, cease and desist, and it can just be looked at as, oh, this is a problem, this is bad, this is evil, it's going to hurt us. And I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying that, the problem is that this movie, in my opinion, did not do anything good for Superman.
Not at all. And it sucks
it made the money.
Yeah, you know how big of a Superman fan I am. So when I heard about this movie even being made, I was over the moon. And the trailers pumped me up. And I walked out of the theater and I thought, I got a Superman movie, but I did not get the Superman movie that I wanted to get.
Yeah. And, the same thing even with the original Batman, not the original, what am I saying original? Fuck that. The Nolan Batman trilogy. There were parts of it that I think were cool, Batman enjoyed it, but it doesn't feel like the Batman that I actually wanted everyone to. Somewhat of that tone, I guess, but not the exact Batman that I wanted everyone to experience. Don't know anything about Batman versus Superman yet. I haven't heard the best, but I don't know anything personally, so I don't want to comment. Though I've heard great things about Affleck's Batman.
Yeah.
But don't want to comment. But yeah, Superman, at least just in this film, not done well. But anyway, so what would you give this movie, though, out of 5 stars?
It's funny, because originally I was at 3. But after rewatching, I went to, and this probably isn't even an accurate scale, 2.75.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
because
then,
my
so
thing is, even though there were a lot of flaws, there was so much potential that I saw there. So I give it a bit of redemption.
All right, that's fine. We're going to have to wrap things up real quick. Didn't realize how long we went on. My goodness, we've gone on for a while. Thought it was only an hour. So sorry, Anthony. What matters is that this is actually, as recording this, we're on the March 31st. This is our 2-year anniversary. I want to thank you all for listening in for so long. And, thank you so much. We'll keep on doing this, keep on going on. And, I just want to mention that, find our Let's Plays on YouTube by searching up Those Guys Play. Also, our main websites is thoseguysonthereradio.tumblr.com, our Facebook / Those Guys on the Radio, which is also our Instagram and our Twitter @ Those Guys Radio. Find our Nerdly News Show, TG News, on YouTube by going to some of our, social media accounts and finding it there. And I think that about wraps it up. Also mentioned merchandise earlier, cafepress.com / TGOTR merchandise. Have to go through this real quick. Oh, and our iTunes, Those Guys. Find us, Those Guys, searching on iTunes. And, thank you all so much, and you all have a great night. And another episode of Friday Night Movies is done. So, say goodnight, Anthony.
Good night, everybody.